Caddis Maximus here, this time with a review of the Milwaukee, I think they call this the hand-operated compact hacksaw. It's just a one-hand hacksaw frame that's kind of spending about $15, I guess, normal shelf price. That's what they're selling them for on Amazon. I did pick this up used at Habitat for Humanity, so what a nice little find for $2. This is actually their modern tool. They're still selling this thing, so it's actually pretty decent. It has a pretty ergonomic handle. There's a wide variety of these, and somehow I have a collection of them, and I've hidden them from myself, so I don't have a whole bunch of frames to compare to, but in the future I will, because I'll inevitably get more. And this is going to be a short review. I did a post in my community page about this Bosch table saw, and it turned out it was filled with biohazard water, and the blade just wouldn't turn. After I cracked the motor, looked at the brushes, pulled them out, still wouldn't turn, cracked the case, and they were just shattered gears. Somebody ran something really hard. Looked like they hit some nails with the blade. So, short review this evening. They do have a one-handed blade change. This uses a system that's actually similar to what skill saw uses, which is having a handle that's held on by via an E-clip onto the end of a bolt, and which is a good idea because it uses a hardened nut and you're not relying on threads on the aluminum itself, although the tang here is pretty small, so if it drops and breaks, it's probably going to break right there, just saying. Although the thumb lever is steel, what's nice about these is if it doesn't hold the blade tight enough, you can pop off the E-clip and rotate the lever into another position to get it tighter. It's actually pretty easy. It has these two little tangs here that are designed to be like stops, but they work okay. Sometimes they flip over and it just pinches the top of the blade. You can adjust it. What's really nice and smart is that they made this handle hollow all the way back, so you can use you can use multiple areas of the blade. You have the opportunity just to have it barely stabilized like so you can have a lot sticking out. You can go against a flat surface like that, or of course suck it in. If you're using a midsection here, it makes sure it gives you the ability to use the whole blade, which is always a habit with hacksaws full frame, is that you tend to use the center section of the blade and you have all these teeth on both ends that are still good. So a saw like this actually will allow you to use more of the blade in many situations. This does have a cast aluminum frame, so I think that's just fine. It seems to be quite rigid, and I do like that. I like that it has a nice right angle there. I do have to say that having a much larger handle, it does have some ribbing there just to give you a bit more grip. When using these saws over longer term, actually is more comfortable. It's a wider, broader surface, which means lower pressure or lower quote-unquote PSI when you're using this, and I can see that if you're in situations where you have to use these relatively often, something with a nice larger round handle is ultimately going to be more comfortable. I should also mention about these small hacksaw frames is you can use them two-handed. This Milwaukee is actually fairly comfortable because it has all these nice broad, it has this nice broad rounded edge beam. And then, you know, it works like a normal hacksaw, and many times it actually works better simply because your hands are closer to the blade, and so you're able to deliver your force in a more direct fashion rather than being kind of offset, because in a normal hacksaw you have your blade and your hand's actually kind of sitting up here, where in this case your hand is sitting right in line with the blade, and then you can use this for assistance or even use the tool by the top of it itself. These types of frames are not notoriously, they're usually just a cast aluminum, which is pretty high quality, but it makes for a real narrow beam, and sometimes, especially if you're in a situation where you have to use them repeatedly, they start to hurt your hand just because you have this narrow surface. So that's what I do really appreciate about Milwaukee trying to even take these old funky tools, which they probably don't sell a whole lot of, and still making them, you know, modernizing them. The one thing I will criticize is the silk screen logo. Come on, at least emboss it, because that's just going to wear off in no time. And then it's just a red and black handled tool. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody watching and subscribing, and I am trying to get away from doing the Harbor Freight stuff I've done. It's pretty addicting sometimes. But I'm even getting tired of Harbor Freight myself. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Caddis Maximus out.